I'm Trademark G, and I love the fucking Spo-its!
I have been a big fan of yours, right from the time we met in Columbus, because I remember that I got that thing you packaged in the floppy drive, twice twice the fat and still tasteless.
Double the fat and still tasteless.
PHAT.
Yeah.
Because me, I love things that are both fat and stupid.
Weirdly, like just recently, I actually found a chance to use that phrase in my real life because we have an old cat that needs low protein food, and I figured and I was looking at the food contents or whatever the different cat foods, and we were trying different ones with her, and I tried this one that had more fat in it. I figured how could it be? That's going to be better, right? But no, she liked the other one with the less fat, and even though it had double the fat, it was still tasty. I never ever thought I would find a chance to use that.
You have been like the one-man sound factory. I mean, you've had all these projects, the Thimbletron, the Wheel of Mashup, and I'd say I'm like a totally huge fan of your work from way back. What is it that started you doing like the cut-ups and not something else?
You were talking yourself about doing like tape-to-tape cut-ups, just the easy and old way, and that actually is how I started doing it too. I can remember having this dual boombox with two cassettes, and once I figured out that the one could play and then record to the other one, that was the beginning of it all. And so I started doing all these pause edits, and I just really liked there was something really great about sampling, which was really new at the time, and this is the early '80s. And but it was out of reach of the mere financial mortal unless you could afford a Fairlight CMI. I didn't have the $40,000 to do that, so I was doing it the low rec way, and there was something really nice, but raw, but also real about it. I've said it before that if art reflects life, this is a really great way to reflect life by sampling it. And I always thought that was, and I was always into electronics, and while I like synthesizers and that kind of music or whatever, there's something about sampling that just had an element I really almost feels like a return to that. But at that time, I was also singing a lot more songs and writing a lot more of my own songs, and I don't really do that so much anymore. I mean, the songs I do end up.
Yeah, you get Ringo Starr to sing your songs.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, and that's that tends to go over better sometimes. But yeah, like all the songs, they may have lyrics and everything, but they're all resampled from elsewhere. They're more purely mashed up or whatever you want to call it. And one day I do want to get back into songwriting like that again.
Well, as I've told you, we're planning to do Rock by Rape on the next Spo-its record.
Yeah?
It's going to be the one cover that we're going to do. We might do an IBS cover too, but we threw out all the other cover songs everybody wants to do. So man, we got too much material. We can't be covering everything. The other people said, but I always wanted to do like the rock and roll Rock by Rape with my son.
Hear that. I've actually heard two different covers of it. There's one band in Columbus that I think was Lord Burger that did a cover of it, which was totally unexpected for me. I saw the show or whatever, and they did that, and it was just guys. And then DJ Small Change on WFMU actually did a cover of it during the fundraiser.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So what's Dan Rather like?
You tell me. He's like,
you don't have an imaginary story, but
I don't really have any. I wish I would have had the chance to meet Dan Rather and find out more about.
He's not dead, is he?
He's
No.
not dead, right? No, he's just retired and disgraced. That's all.
Maybe we're breaking news. Dan Rather dead at 85.
Pictures of life. Yeah, Dan Rather, I don't have any really good stories to tell about that, except one, which is that a lot of people ask if Dan Rather's heard our Rock by Rape song, and I can only say that he has, from a couple of fans, got to see a celebrity roast for Spina Bifida on C-SPAN, and Dan Rather was the celebrity. And at the end of the tiresome roast, they did the sort of typical video montage of goofs and blooper reel, and the soundtrack of it was Rock by Rape. They actually played our track, they didn't let it get to the chorus, but they played the beginning of it. And so Dan Rather, apparently, when they cut back, Dan Rather looks a little bit miffed. But, so that's the only story.
My whole career as a serious journalist.
Right. Yeah. Cut up and mashed up. Yeah. So that at least means that although I can't say he's heard the whole piece, I can at least say we're one of the few bands that have had played on C-SPAN.
Well, I saw you all on NPR several times. You did the Rock by Rape, got the NPR. I am really surprised that CBS News didn't smack you down about that. I guess it was sort of...
We did. We got a cease and desist
You
letter
did get
from CBS.
You did get a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Did you cease and desist?
No. We got a cease and desist letter.
That's the Streisand effect, though.
Yeah. And that's exactly how we tried to play it out. It was basically let's see, so the label was Eerie Materials from San Francisco that put out the 7-inch single in 1999. And in 2000, it took like 10 months, but then there was a review written about the record in Spin, and then that led to a cease and desist like 8 days later. And so basically this cease and desist came in the mail to Eerie Materials. They were not in the mood for a protracted legal battle as they wanted to move to Guam. So they did. But I didn't want to take it lying down, but on the other hand, what can I really do? Legal, I don't have a legal budget that would work. So we waged a minor war in the press. And
did you get any extra press out of it?
Yeah, we did. And Negativland helped a little bit with some good press contacts, but we got some sympathetic stories written. And CBS just never pushed it any further. So yeah, basically we tried to draw as much attention to it as we could. But beyond just like the press articles, we went further, and at the time, Napster was brand new. And so I went on Napster and of course not only offered the song under its own name, but also offered it under various other names to make it look much more appealing, like Grateful Dead, previously unheard show 1974, Nirvana, Rare Bootleg, and I came up with all these very collectible sounding rare names. And so what would happen is people would download them thinking that they're the one thing. They would hear it and realize it's not. And then the feedback that we got back was usually fairly positive. I mean, some people bitched, of course, but then others were like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it's a pretty good song. Those tracks got thousands of downloads each. The one that was correctly labeled got in the dozens.
Dozens. Well, I still have my copy.
Yeah, you have a 7-inch.
I have a 7-inch,
right.
yes. I have a 7-inch Rock by Rape.
Keep a hold of that. It's out of print now. So. Yeah. It's the packaging and that whole nature of its presentation that can make the most impression. So, some of those things that you have, you probably have Plunderphonics, like a cassette album that was released in an 8-track tape that's hinged open
Yes,
like
I
a cosmetic
have
case
that.
with the cassette inside. Those things become like these sort of, artifacts.
But I've never
or something
played it.
that-
It could be totally blank. I pulled the tracks off of your website. The actual artifact is sitting up on my shelf where it was when I got home and put it up there. It has not been moved.
Yeah.
Oh, I did open it up and look at it, but
Good.
it's never been put through a tape machine.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you definitely have the most pristine, more pristine than any copy I have. But yeah, that's what I really miss those kinds of things. In fact, I remember feeling a little bit of regret when I put out Plagiarism Nation, because it was just a CD. It was just a CD with a simple, fold-over booklet inside. And I kept thinking, like, I should have done more. What could I have done?
You should have done a 50 or 100 copy art pressing.
Yeah, I mean,
And if you want to go back and do one, I'd be happy to build cases out of my own excrement. and bird nests or whatever, and we give them a little hat.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing is, well, anyway, yeah, something like that has to happen. Hat, yeah. Yeah, at least with the new album, with All Rights Reserved, I was at least able to go a bit further and, release not just a CD, but with a bonus disc of all these extra things, plus a record, of awesome orange vinyl, 180-gram gatefold sleeve, doing it upright. So I at least feel like that was, I made my effort.
Yeah, we did one 7-inch, our original handgun, and there was only 300 of them pressed. And I've seen it like all over the world, on like, see, especially England. I think a group of them got bought and sent to England from Standard Records because they've hit the second hand. I actually bought one back because I had gotten rid of all but like 2, and I saw one for a fairly reasonable price. I guess it was like $10 or $12 or something like that. And I snatched it up because usually you see them, they're like 50.
Yeah.
It was like, because there's just like not that many of them. And if you want to have one, well, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have plenty of Spo-it stuff, that's for sure. And, I'm not sure if I have that 7-inch or not, though. I, of course, remember handgun.
My collection numbers, I don't even know, the tens of thousands. And it's mostly like the old noise stuff that they'd print like 200 or whatever, and plus all the 80s stuff I used to listen to, plus all my thing, and Tammy Faye Baker records, and I've got Building on the Rock. You get that one, the Puppet Show record?
Absolutely, yeah, the sort of lamb chop ripoff or something.
And the Tab Hunter Sings record.
Yeah. Oh man, I had a whole section of.
But you don't have the Waffle House records.
I don't. Yeah.
We need to find you a copy of the Waffle House records.
I absolutely want those. Yeah. I had a section of children's religious records when I had all my whole collection together, and it was labeled Opiates of the Lasses.
I have this great Catholic one, Sex Education for Children, and it's got a priest on the thing looking all stern with the Bible. It's actually in. I love the record sleeve so much. There's actually not that many like great sounds in there. I played it through a few times to try to get some sounds out of it, and I just couldn't find anything that was that catchy or whatever.
Wow,
That
leave
fucking
it to the Catholics to make sex boring.
boring. Yeah, but that record thing was so great that it was on my promo photos for a long time. Yeah, I'd have the blow up doll, Sex Education for Children, and me with the grind guitar like this.
Yeah, I have a number of records that are like just for the cover. In fact, I have a section that's called just for the anti-milk.
It's kind of like motherfucking. But today, I mean, I don't know what the kids like, but you can fuck your mother today, can't you? I mean, not when you're little. Like, that would just be gross.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're 18, she's 32. It's time to leave for your job at the trucker school or whatever. And mom's all clingy and stuff. You just give her the Rochambeau.
Perfect example of the Spo-its aesthetic.